Good afternoon and welcome to today's little DJNTV mini-series. I'm going to be leading this with my good friend, Mitch. Good afternoon, Mitch.
Good afternoon, John. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Today, Mitch and I are going to be talking about training options for DJs in 2019. And this is probably something beyond 2019 also, because some of the things we're going to talk about are kind of ongoing annual events. We had a lot of stuff, Mitch, we're going to be covering here in the next about half hour of our time today.
There is a lot to cover that is available for resources in the disc jockey industry.
Yeah, that's for sure. So we're going to break this into three segments. We're going to talk about DJ conventions. Then we're going to do a second section on workshops. And then the third will be on online training that's available, which, of course, online, there's a lot of different things. We're going to just be spotlighting certain things. And with any of these three videos that you're going to be watching, which they're in the playlist, the link to that full playlist is down below. If any of these, we're missing something, we'd ask you to please put that down in the comment section, because then we'll add that into the description so people can check out these different things, because we want to have all the URL links in that section. So, Mitch, we've got a list of conventions here. Let's just kind of start off we're kind of in a chronological order for how they fall for mobile DJs. And the first one that we run into the calendar is Mobile Beat Las Vegas.
Absolutely. Mobile Beat Las Vegas, gosh, you know, I know many veterans, you know, the older guys and gals, if you will, like us. We've been going to Mobile Beat for quite some time. For me, it's been 12 years. I'm sure it's maybe been even longer for you. I don't know. But I've been an attendee of Mobile Beat for the last 12 years. Had the pleasure of speaking at four of the last 12 shows. And it's always a great conference to gather in Vegas to see the latest and greatest, to learn from each other. And of course, people always say some of the best content's in the hallways, if you will. But Mobile Beat has been a family of sorts and different activities. And you see, you know, things going on and people, and you only see them once or twice a year. And it's a great kind of way to reconnect with others in the industry. And also timing wise, I think it's a really good time to go, because for many of us, not for those probably in you know, Phoenix or Texas, mind you, but many of us in the United States, that prime wedding season or booking season or event season, if you will, is, you know, March to, you know, October or something like that.
Yep.
Certainly us in the Midwest anyway, and Northeast and places like that. And so that's a good time to go get energized, you know, get that feel, that vibe, get out of your surroundings. You know, your surroundings just kind of overwhelm you sometimes. Get to Vegas, get out of that, and get a new perspective on things.
For sure. And I think one of the probably biggest points I make when people ask about, you know, conventions overall is the statement you made about going and visiting family, not blood family, but the DJ community family, which has grown over the years of you know, some of our best friends are now from that industry. And 20 years ago, that wasn't the case. It was all that, you know, I would never share this with that person because that's just the way it was back then.
No, Mobile Beat has been a great solution for that over the years, and a great fostering ground, if you will, for that.
For sure, for sure. Let's talk a little bit about the education for those who've never been to Mobile Beat. We'll kind of look at each one with the educational aspect also. If we were going to kind of explain to someone who's never been there before what the educational content is like, you mentioned the hallway, of course, being a great resource because you can talk to people and ask questions and share ideas. The formal educational component at Mobile Beat, how would you explain that?
Formal education from Mobile Beat is great. You're able to be with other like-minded individuals in a spot where they bring in some of the best and brightest industry presenters and outside the industry as well. You know, I know they brought in social media experts in the past. They've had a guerrilla marketing expert in the past. They've done different things over the years to help change it up a bit. Mm-hmm. You know, I know they've had a past financial peace advisor and representative from Dave Ramsey even too. So it's been good to get that outside perspective for disc jockeys. And Mobile Beat has always been a big charge of leading the way and doing that, but also letting those that are inside the industry shine. I know that's something that those at Mobile Beat, the powers that be, if you will, have always tried to bring in new presenters as well as some of the seasoned veterans and had them present. So it's nice to be able to learn from different presenters from different parts of the country and learn, you know, what they do differently, and have them bring that to the stage, whether you agree or disagree with how they present. And that's another topic for debate, I guess. Yep. You're always able to glean something. And that's the beautiful part about Mobile Beat, is that's one central location that everyone seems to converge upon in Las Vegas to learn from.
Yeah. And when you say the people from around the world literally are coming to Las Vegas and checking out the show. And for most of us, it's a pretty inexpensive flight. And then there's our Glenn Mackay, who has to spend $1 million to get there.
I love Glenn Mackay. I was in Australia last year. Yeah, not that long ago. So
but it's and they still make that pilgrimage because of the friends, family, the educational content, and the return that they get for their money. So
yes,
LasVegas.com, mobilebeatlasvegas.com is the website. You guys can go and check that out. And that's the first one. Next, let's jump to one that you personally are involved with now as one of the planners and such. The Midwest DJs Live?
Midwest DJs Live, MidwestDJsLive.com. That has been a show. It's so funny. Again, you've been involved in this industry for quite some time. And, you know, before it started in the back of Bucket's Pub in Racine, Wisconsin, which Racine is a little podunk town in between Milwaukee and Chicago. I mean, you got to understand that it's like not a whole lot going on there, you know? And so just guys getting together like we used to do as well back at Northern Disc Jockey Conference and Map DJ and those kind of days, where guys just bring their gear and hang out and mix and share. And so see it grow from the back of a bar
literally
to 11 years later, or whatever the case may be, in time of growth, to see where it goes to is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know, now we're at Potawatomi Hotel and Casino in downtown Milwaukee for a venue. And to be able to see that kind of growth and have, you know, over 100 DJs from all over. We've had guys and gals in from Canada, from California, from Pennsylvania, from Florida. I mean, you know, so it's not just exclusively Midwest DJs converging, even though the name of the show is Midwest DJs Live. I've been a part of that show as a speaker a couple times now. A few years back, this was almost 3 years back now, I was asked to be on the board and pretty much given you do education.
Yeah.
Because you know people. Okay, I guess. And that's just kind of where it's gone from there. It's a great hardworking board that puts things together. It's not just one entity. There are 12 individuals working to grow that. And the tagline is the show for DJs by DJs. And I think that really describes the show. As one of the previous founding board members used to say, we want to put on a show that we would want to attend, which I think is kind of a good descriptor for Midwest.
Yeah, I think that's definitely an accurate descriptor for it. Lori and I got over there, not the year before. We had a conflict, unfortunately, this past year, but great event. Yes, it has that regional feel in many ways. Yes. But what's cool about this event, as Mitch made point to, is you have DJs from around the country who are coming in here. And for some of them, they come in and they are much more willing to share here in the upper Midwest than they would be in their own market. So I've learned more things, you know, as guys coming in from California, when Adrian would come up here to the upper Midwest. Adrian's a California DJ, and he comes up to Minneapolis, and he's an open book. Now, if I were his competition in his market, not gonna hear it, but they will come up and share. And even DJs within our own region. Now, I think things have changed a lot where people now do share, knowing that I can tell Mitch everything that I do, because at the end of the day, I still have John's way of doing things, and Mitch has Mitch's way of doing things, and we can take the same script and we're going to do it completely to a point.
Yes.
So,
yeah, no, that absolutely is true. It's just been a great experience. They've stepped up the game quite a bit, production level wise.
Oh yeah.
Over the last time you were there, so I think that will be also a big differentiator. You know, it used to be a laptop on a table and a projector and a screen, and that's it. This past year, we stepped it up quite a bit production level wise.
Yeah, it looked really, really nice. It looked like you guys really did a great job with that. And education wise, you guys have been bringing in kind of a mix of some local talent and national talent. How are things looking for this year's show?
This year's looking excellent. We have 12 presenters already announced this year. And last year, one of my goals was to bring in an outside speaker. I don't believe we've had too many speakers outside the DJ industry into Midwest. And so last year we brought on international touring DJ Maria Mattarelli, who has toured with the DJ from 3-6 Mafia before in the past. And this year, we had Brian Bonacisi last year as well, who's also an international touring DJ. So that was kind of cool. They spun our Monday night party last year. This year, we are focusing on again, local talent, of course, being featured in the Midwest. We have a couple different guys and gals that are presenting that are local, as well as some national names. Joe Bunn, for example, is speaking at our show this year. And it's just a great, Stacy Nichols is coming in doing a presentation on Pinterest. And we actually have 2 outside the industry speakers, one delivering an opening keynote and one delivering a closing keynote to the show. For this year's conference. Both really, really great presenters that I'm excited to have on board and kind of lead the way for us. We offer roundtables as well, which is also another unique component of Midwest, to be able to get people talking at their tables about a topic and really breaking something down for them and their business versus the talking head at the front of the room and going, so we want to make sure we provide that component as well to really get you into the meat of what you want to work on your own business and what you want to get out of the session.
Midwest DJs Live was a DJ plural, DJS?
Midwest DJs plural live.com.
Perfect. And you guys can pop out there and check that out. We didn't even talk about dates. Mobile Beat is a March event. Midwest DJs is at the end of April this year?
Yes, it normally falls either end of April or very beginning of May. They've had other dates in the past. We don't want to get too close to Mobile Beat. I mean, that's a thing. We're not trying to be Mobile Beat either whatsoever. Mobile Beat is a big show in Las Vegas. This is more of a regional show, and I believe our next show we're going to talk about is also regional, which is important. I feel that regional shows give an opportunity for those that maybe can't make that time commitment to fly all the way to Vegas, and be away from the family or a day job, whatever the case may be. A regional show gives you a little more flexibility for those in that area of the country, if you will. Yeah, definitely. And we'll be hitting quite a few. Actually, one of them isn't regional to a point out to. Yes. Now, for the rest of the shows, we're going to be talking about others. And for some of you are going to be like, oh, you talk way more about the first 2 than the rest of them. Partially is because we don't have a lot of information on what this year's show is. So we're going to be just talking about them from past experience. So I wanted to get that out there because some people are going to be like, well, they talked about all of that. So our next one coming up in June is ARM DJs, which happens in, where does Robbie? Greenville, Tennessee.
Greenville, Tennessee. Thank you.
Might be Gatlinburg this year.
I don't remember exactly. ARMsDJ.com.
ARMDJs.com for all your information on that one. Another great regional show that, again, I know the show promoter, Robbie. I've spoken at that show in the past. I'll be speaking at a regional version of that show upcoming as well. It's a great show from a standpoint of, guys and gals getting together to share knowledge and converge on an area, smaller show, right? Same kind of feel and vibe.
Yep.
And, Vegas is great. I love the Vegas shows. We have another Vegas show to talk about here shortly as well. But the smaller shows, I find you have less distractions, right? The Vegas have the distraction, right, of Vegas. I mean, it's nightclubs, it's it's shows, it's
Vegas.
It's the glitz and the glamour and all that, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's we all need a little bit of that in our lives sometimes too, but sometimes it's good to not have that, converge on an area where we can get down to brass tacks a little bit more and not have the distractions. So ARM DJs is a great regional conference that is always trying to grow. I believe they've been around the same time as Midwest, if I'm not mistaken.
They're June, in the mid-June.
No, I mean in regards to the length of how long they've existed. That's what I meant.
Oh, oh boy. I knew that
I believe it was 10, 11 years that's been going at least now.
Yeah. He's been going for quite a while. Maybe even longer than that, actually.
Maybe even longer, actually. Yeah, I could be wrong on that. So,
but yeah, he's a well-established. It's really, of all the shows, I think Robbie has really embraced that family feel. Meaning,
oh my gosh, yes.
It's a family reunion in June, and you'll see some of the same people who are coming thousands of miles to come to this event, and it's a wonderful, wonderful experience when you can do that and go see friends, as we've already talked about a couple of times on this segment.
Yeah, he's broken barriers too in regards to his content, bringing in some very well-known national speakers into Little Tennessee.
Yeah.
So kudos to Robbie for that, honestly.
Yeah, he's had some big names there for surely. So armdjs.com, you guys can go out and check that out. Continuing on, then we get into July. We have the Marquee Show that comes up in Chicago. Last year was the first Marquee Show, and that's out at marqueeshow.com. And let's talk about Chicago for a second, because that was something that the promoters, when they were putting that together, they were saying that Chicago is such a unique city. And Mitch, you've been there more than I. Yes. For those who have never been to Chicago, what is something about Chicago that makes it that Joe Bunn talks about this, is that he's been there, and it's like he's like I'm hooked, because Chicago, the city, has something. And I've not been there enough. I mean, we went down to the waterfront, and I'll tell you, it was really cool. I enjoyed that.
Chicago is called the second city. It's a wonderful, wonderful city. It's only I can be in Chicago in like 5 hours. It's not that far, but I say that because here in the UP we measure everything by
hours.
Time.
Yep, yeah, hours of driving. Yep,
driving. So
yeah, sorry, 2 hours from Minneapolis. So
sorry for you watching those in San Diego or whatever. But you still measure by time too, because you're stuck on the freeway forever.
Yeah, precisely. It's a 2-hour freeway drive, and we're there.
Anyway, Chicago is a great city. I mean, improv, Second City Improv. I mean, that's amazing in its own right. You've got the waterfront there in Chicago. You got the Magnificent Mile for shopping. You've got, deep dish pizza. Hello, Chicago pizza is just amazing. Gosh, Chicago dogs. I love Chicago dogs. So the culture of Chicago. It's grown up, major, big city, Midwest vibe, if that makes sense. I've attended many different conferences and conventions in Chicago over the years. Toastmasters conference was just in Chicago. The international conference, which literally goes all over the world, was in Chicago last year that I attended. They have one of the largest convention centers in the world, frankly, in Chicago that we were at last year. And, I know there was an ADJA show in Chicago as well, one of the very first ones back in 2009. That's where I got my start speaking. And so Chicago is just a great city. I mean, you have the Cubs, you have the White Sox, you get 2 Major League Baseball teams, great sports town. There's a lot going on in Chicago, and a great way to see another part of the country if you want to fly in. Easy to get to from almost anywhere.
It really is, yeah.
It's centrally located, right in the center of the United States. So,
and what's with the Marquee Show? The Marquee Show in many ways has a lot of similarities to some of the other shows where you've got the education, and much of the information hasn't been released on this year's show yet. But you've got your educational seminars, you've got a few exhibitor sponsors who are there to do this. But the cool thing is that you've got a major league city, a big time city. You've got a convention that's in the Midwest, and if for some people like school teachers who it's tough to make something during the calendar year, this is a real option. And there's a lot of our DJ brethren who are school teachers, and this is definitely an option. And they're covering a variety. Last year we were there, and we got to a variety of different topics. Some, we're at a higher level than I myself, who've been doing this for a number of years, and some things were kind of more at the level, and maybe a couple of things were more elementary that they were presenting. But that's the way the way conferences are. You've got to be able to do a little bit for everybody. So
Yeah.
Great experience. Our limited time we had in Chicago, I had my little ones with me, and we went and did some things around town, and it was fun, but the pizza was the highlight of my time with the kids, because they were like, "Oh, this is great pizza." It's like, yeah, can we take some home with?
Oh, and Portillo's. If you go to Chicago, go to Portillo's. It's like a Chicago institution. You get the Chicago dog, you get the Italian roast beef, kind of thing. It's just a great,
See, more things to do. And Casey was giving me a list of other things that we needed to do. So looking forward to it. So that'll be coming up in July. Moving on. Now,
August.
I'm going to, into August, we have DJ Expo. I'm going to say this is the biggest regional DJ convention in the United States. And I am going to I would classify this as a regional convention.
Okay.
And the reason I do this is that in Las Vegas, if you draw a circle around Las Vegas, 4-hour circle within that, you have a few DJs who attend the show.
Correct.
If you draw a 4-hour circle around the Milwaukee area, you've got probably most of your crowd is within 4 hours, maybe half of your crowd.
Pretty close, half, I'd say.
You draw a 4-hour circle, and I'm talking a Mitch and John 4-hour circle, meaning that we can drive roughly, we can go roughly 200 miles in 4 hours.
Yeah.
So you draw that 200-mile circle. Granted, we're out in the middle of the ocean, but you do that, and but you go out about a 200-mile radius circle in Atlantic City, and you've got 99% of your attendees.
Well, you have to close part of the circle because it's like on the Atlantic Ocean, so you can't go that way. You should see
the dolphins after hours when they come in there and they're doing that little thing going on. And boy, do they negotiate for good pricing.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull that part out and make that my ringtone.
Great. So, DJ Expo.
Yes.
Educational content. They have some.
Yes.
It's the greatest educational experience. And granted, when we start this, I love DJ Expo. I love going to the show. I love the people who are there. It's more that extended family thing. The reality is that the content is, while it's good content, they're not known for their greatest content. And it's not because of the people on stage or anything to that effect, because the focus is on this other thing.
Yes.
What did when the first time you hit that exhibit hall, what was that like?
Holy crap.
Yes. That's pretty much how it is for everyone the first time
that's
when Michael came to the door and he actually was in there with me when they were setting up and such, but when he came to the door the very first time when it was on.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It was on like Donkey Kong.
Oh man, that was something. So DJ
show floor is just ridiculously huge.
It's a big show floor, a lot of major manufacturers represented there. And it is, as I've referred to it on other shows, it's a flea market experience.
Yeah.
You can go in there and you can buy. It's a lot of cash and carry, where those people who are driving in from that 100, 150, 200 mile radius, they're driving in, van's empty. They're leaving. The van is not empty anymore.
Yeah. You're, box truck. You're not seeing, little 2-seater Camaro pulling up,
Or now that you say that, yes, I have seen that, and it's leaving with trussing sticking out the back. Literally have seen that. It's like, no way, that can't be legal to drive that in.
Right?
But yes.
How does that work?
Yeah, not very well.
Probably not, no.
I got a seatbelt. I'm tying the seatbelt from the front seat to hold my trussing in the back end of the car. It's great.
Well, and their nighttime again is also different. I mean, the nighttime experience, I guess, for DJ Expo with, they had the DJ of the Year competition for a long time. Our good friend Mike Walter ran that for quite some time. I believe that's changed now.
Yep, Daryl's running it now.
So, and I think they're calling it something else, correct?
I think they're calling it Entertainer of the Year. I think
it was Entertainer.
Something to that effect. Yeah, they changed that a little bit. And one more thing with the nightlife is generally they have an evening event. Like last year, the highlight of the evening event was Mike Walter up on stage spinning Prince. I mean, if there's one thing you want to see is that. Yeah. Not that we don't know every song he played, And not that Mike is the greatest mixologist ever.
Nope.
You had a person up there doing something he loves doing, DJing, with the music he loves, Prince, and he's in front of 500 whatever of people who are music, and they love Mike and they love Prince. He was a kid in a candy store wouldn't describe how much pleasure he had. You could just see it.
He was elated.
It was, yeah. It was an incredible moment, and I was elated.
I wish I wasn't there last year, but I wish I could have been there. I've had the pleasure of touring Paisley Park with Mike, and that in itself was a great experience, let me tell you.
Yeah, it would be quite an experience. So yeah, DJ Expo comes up in August. They have information out there. I believe it's the DJ Expo, or go to djtimes.com and then you can link them, but I think it's the djexpo.com. So you can go there. Continuing into the fall, and I don't remember if Wedding MBA is when we want to talk about. If Wedding MBA is in October or November, I think it's October.
They moved back to October, is my understanding.
Yeah, so it's weddingmba.com, I believe, is where it's at.
Yes,
but
it is.
This past year they were in November.
Yes.
I believe. Yep, they were early November. So I think they went back into October.
Yes, they did.
This is Las Vegas. This is a wedding. It isn't just DJs. This is a wedding professionals event. How would you describe this for DJs who maybe have never been to something like that, but have been to DJ conventions? Meaning the difference between
Well, the difference is, to me, you want to go to learn from other like-minded professionals, not just like-minded DJs. Get out of your DJ box. I mean, legit, I'm a part of different networking groups, and some of them are DJ only, and others are business owner, entrepreneur only, or a mixture of the two. And to be able to go to Las Vegas and get that Vegas experience, but also be able to learn from a top planner out of San Antonio, or a great photographer out of, Philadelphia, or whatever the case may be, right, is a great way to network. And obviously it is wedding focused, Wedding MBA. So maybe if you're the mitzvah jock, or if you're, in the club scene mostly, it might not be for you. But if you are a wedding company, you should definitely be at Wedding MBA. And
even some of the other, even if I'm not mainly wedding, if I'm mainly something else, there still was information that, really the best tips I picked up from Wedding MBA were not wedding specific whatsoever. Much of it was social media. And it was, things that could apply. Stacy coming to Midwest, she's going to share things that would work with anyone who's wanting.
That's true, and I should qualify.
Yeah. Not to change, but yeah, you're exactly right that there's a lot of great, but there's just it's such a diverse thing. And when you listen to some of these people who are outside, certainly the DJ industry, when you're hearing Sonny up on stage, he's talking about trends. Here's a guy who has made a lot of money, and his money gets him into places and gets him information that you and I don't get we don't get.
Nope.
And he does, and he's sharing that information with us, and it's like, ooh, this is cool. And then when it's over, and then I'll be speaking for 4.5 minutes on Tuesday afternoon. It's like, where? I'm there.
Right. Exactly.
It's just you're so much, and you just want to grab and such, because there's little gems all over that show.
Yes, there are. And again, like you said, John, if you can pull something out and put it into your business, even if you're not exclusively weddings or something, it would allow you to gain knowledge from other people that are in the events industry by attending Wedding MBA.
And sometimes those little tips a person picks up can set you apart in your school dance industry.
Yes.
That you wouldn't imagine. So Wedding MBA comes up, I think October. You guys can check that out at weddingmba.com. Last one. Let's talk about the DJ cruise, the Mobile Beat DJ cruise. Now, that was something that you were involved with this past November.
Yes. The last couple of years, I actually spoke on the Mobile Beat cruise 2 years ago. And this past year, I kind of took over running the education for it. And it's a great experience. Again, you know, full disclosure, I used to work for Carnival Cruise Lines onboard ship out of LA and Miami. So I love cruising. I've been on over 100 cruises. It's me going to DJ cruise. I'm all about it. Absolutely. Sure. I'm in. Sign me up. Where are we going? You know, and so if you like vacationing and you like networking and learning while you're on vacation, then this is a great opportunity to marry those two things together. You know, I had a DJ who actually, ironically enough, last year, met him on the cruise. He went to DJ Expo. He was looking for something different this time around, and his wife has always wanted to go on a cruise. And so
Bing, yeah, right there it is.
Here's the thing, you know, and it's a nice, we had, I'll just tell you the numbers. We had 60 people on the Mobile Beat cruise this past year, which is pretty good, I think, considering, you know, it may pigeonhole some people. I don't want the water. I get seasick, you know.
Oh, yeah. There's some real phobias with that, and you get that.
Yeah. So, but my thoughts on that are, you know, they make the bands or whatever you could purchase, and, you know, cruise ships these days they're like a floating hotel, honestly.
Very much so, yeah.
You just happen to wake up in a different port of call, you know, after every couple of days or whatever the case may be. And it's a great way to maximize your vacation dollar. You know, you may be working a day job or a different career or something like that, where you're not able to really take vacations an awful lot. You may get 1 week a year, 2 weeks a year. Why not be able to find out more information about, you know, what you love in your DJ world or your photo booth world, and be able to take your wife or significant other on vacation as well at the same time. It's kind of a cool marriage, if you will. So Mobile Beat Photo Booth Expo Cruise is coming up as well. Typically it's in November, and it should be a great experience for all involved, again, this coming year.
If you were to compare just the engagement with attendees, the ability for you to network and such between, let's just compare, since they're both Mobile Beat events, at Mobile Beat Las Vegas compared to the cruise, which one am I going to be having more private time, we'll call it, for lack of a better way to describe it? Which one am I going to be able to engage more in depth with?
You're going to get more in-depth attention on the Mobile Beat cruise, Photo Booth Expo cruise. And the reason why is because I'm on a boat. No.
That's how you were going to say this. Like, reason why is they can't get away from you.
That's pretty much it, John. I mean, where are you going to go, really?
Come back here. Listen to my story. Here's my pictures.
Pretty much. No, but you can break bread. I mean, they got Guy's Burger joint on the ship. You got great burgers. You got there's food, just ridiculous amount of food. Ridiculous amount of food. Anything you want, pretty much. And cocktails, of course, are flowing, and you got the sun, and you got the deck, and the it's just a great ambiance to just grab a drink and rap about your business and what you're looking for and what you want to get out of next year. And, you know, it's a good time of year too in November, because it's at that tail end, if you will, of the season we talked about earlier, right? April to October, whatever the case may be for people. You're not full on into the holiday season yet with the rush of the holiday parties and all that. It's a great way to just kind of catch my breath and, okay, now what am I going to hit for the next year? You know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's a great time to be figuring
vacation mode too, a little bit, you know? So the cruise basically breaks up to, you normally have 2 days of education, and somewhere in the middle we sandwich typically is what it was this past year anyway, was the islands, if you will. Sure. So we don't do anything major on the islands. We give that as your own, you know, private time with your significant other or whatever the case may be. Or sure, you go on an excursion with a bunch of DJs. Sure, absolutely, have fun with it if you want to, but it's not required. It's not part of the education, if you will, right?
Sure.
So the education is on the ship itself during the sea days, you know, so you're not missing an island, if you will, or a port of call. But yeah, you get more of that private time, that one-on-one breaking bread, really getting down to know somebody and creating that family, right? We talked about that earlier.
Exactly. It keeps coming.
That's another nice touch to it. So
yeah, nice. You know the domain URL?
mobilebeatcruise.com.
Perfect. mobilebeatcruise.com.
Photo booth But PBX, if I forget the one is for the photo booth, mobilecruise.com will get you there.
Yeah, that'll get you there.
Photo Booth Expo Cruise is sponsored by both entities. So that's the cruise.
Yeah, it comes up November. So that kind of wraps up the conventions. If there's something that we missed and you guys have attended or you know that's going to be coming up, please put that URL and such down in the comment section down below. We're going to jump to our next video in this series. We have three. The number one was talking about conventions. Number two is going to be workshops. And number three, we're going to talk about online training. For those of you wondering, this is the long video. The other two are going to be a lot shorter because we're just going to kind of go through and list and give a couple of highlights of each one. But we wanted to make sure you guys are learning about the different training options for DJs in 2019. Mitch, we'll be right back with our next one talking about workshops.
Thanks, Sean.